I mean, I think working as a therapist like destroyed one of my relationships in the past. And hey, good thing it did, right? Because I'm really happy with how everything turns out, right? So, God works in mysterious ways, close the door, open a window, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But I can distinctly remember coming home from, days of doing therapy and, my girlfriend at the time having the audacity to share her problems or having the gall to tell me about all the things that she's struggling with. And I'm like, I just talked about this kind of stuff with like 9 people today. Why do all the problems of the world have to come to me? I'm just self-pity all over the place. But, there's some truth to that in the sense that if all the interactions you're having are in kind of like this giving, at the end of the day, there's really not much left for you, So, so without digging too deep into it or going too personal, I mean, I guess what are the things that you're doing or what are your suggestions for other therapists who may be going through those early stages of burnout? What are some things they can do that are kind of personal give backs, that are personal reinforcements that help turn this situation around or get it moving in a more positive direction?
I would first say allow it to be real, talk about it. And I hope that everyone has a supportive work environment as I do, utilizing your supports at work, especially because a lot of my close friends or a lot of my, obviously coworkers, we know what it's like to be going through stuff like that. What was the question? I'm sorry. I totally lost train of thought.
Yeah. So again, going back to the original, what the sucky part about you asking me is that now I have to try to remember the question. So no, going back to
what happens though. This is what happens. You forget like that. Yes. This is a perfect
yellow brain fog thing going, attention stuff. So no, I mean, going back to kind of the introduction of the podcast, like through helping back, like it's like, okay, here's a problem. But we always ultimately want to end up in a place where we can think about what to do about the problem. Like, so where are our solutions? Where are our opportunities in this problem? If we accept the fact that burnout is probably a universal feature of this career, okay, whether you deny it or accept it, whether you feel it so acutely that you can't work or you just feel it a little bit where you're like, I'm grumpy today, but you know what I mean? Like it's going to affect you in some form or fashion. So if it's an absolute to this career, I guess I was just wanting to kind of engage you in a conversation about, so what can you do when you start to feel that stuff? What are things you can do to fill your tank that may have nothing to do with what you're doing in session, right? I'm just thinking more about those personal investments. If this has a lot to do with, if I'm not great outside of session, it's going to be hard for me to be great inside session, So what are some things you can do, or what are some things you are doing to kind of get that pattern turned around in a more positive direction? Like, what are you doing to invest in yourself? And what would you have other therapists do to invest in themselves so that they're more ready to meet those challenges?
Okay.
There you go.
So first, like I was saying before, making it real, talking about it, and recognizing, for me personally, I had to recognize what I wasn't doing that was helping me before, which was basically everything. I kind of just stopped routine. Routine works for me. I haven't been in a routine in over a year, hence all the traveling, but I wouldn't change it for the world. But recognizing what used to work and kind of bringing it back into your everyday life. So for me personally, working out really, really helped me. Have I started working out again? No, but it is, on the list, things time, but just doing those things that help me and utilizing the support and identifying that burnout is real. Because I didn't think it was real. I thought, it just happened to the 50-year-olds, and I'm not even 30 and I'm already saying I'm burnt out. But that's okay.
For the first time. Yeah. It's your reality and you'll learn this time. So I want to give you a little intervention. You can use this. So something you talked about, I really loved what you just said about itemizing what hasn't worked or is no longer working along with like what is working. So 2 things. I think it's really important to shrink change. Right. And so if you have all these challenges and you're saying, okay, I've identified all these things that help and I'm going to do all of them. Like you're kind of guaranteeing this is not going to work, right? Because, or if you're identifying like, hey, I've realized what hasn't worked for me and I'm going to stop all of them right now. Like, no, you're not, right?
Exactly.
You're setting
It's
yourself
that,
up.
like I was saying earlier, that all or nothing thinking. Like, okay, I know that I was healthy and happy and just living my best life when I was working out, taking my vitamins, waking up at 7, making breakfast. I can't do that all tomorrow. Like, because in my head also, I'm going to start Monday. So Monday morning comes along. I'm going to do all that. The first day I'm going to get burned out.
Yes. Or you'll do 9 out of 10 things and call it a failure and stop all of them.
Exactly.
Right. Because 90% is an F. In personal change world, we don't grade ourselves very fairly. So I think it's important. I mean, something you can do with your clients or yourself is honestly just to make a list of, 6 things that don't help me, that I'm doing, right? 6 things that would help me if I did them. And then just do 1 a month, right? So I call it kind of a give and take method, right? So working out seems to be the big thing, right? Maybe you need to change your diet. Maybe you need to change your sleep. Maybe you need to stop X, Y, and Z. Ignore all of that, right? This month, you're going to add something good. You're just going to add your workouts. And if they happen at 7 at night, who cares, right? That's fine. 30 days. Yay, success. I did one thing different, right? And that's going to contribute to your life in a positive way. So you gave yourself something. Now it's time to take something away. The next month, take something off that bad list and stop doing it. Just one thing, right? End of 2 months, you now have 2 positive things that have happened. One additive, one that you've taken away. Month 3, time to give yourself something, right? So maybe you're going to add whatever, yoga, you're going to add, but I don't know, but you've got your list, right? And then, so what you do is if you just do 1 at a time, at the end of the year, you've got 12 new habits, right? And you're so far away from where you started, but you've also gotten 12 opportunities to celebrate your success. Yeah, I added the workout. I'm going to ignore the 9 things that I still need to do because it's not that month, right? And then the next month you get to celebrate that you stopped eating ice cream every day or whatever the hell, whatever, or stopped working on the weekends because that's invading my downtime. I'm not going to do weekend sessions. So there you go. There you go. And it's one thing at a time. I don't know. I don't have a research study, but I've seen some great success with that incremental, give and take approach.
One thing at a time. And that's literally what it is. And it's so simple and like so cliche, like one day at a time, one thing at a time, but it's so real though. Like,
yeah. You said you talked with your friends and your peers and your colleagues that are new and things like that. You've shared a lot about your experience with this. Are you hearing it from other people too? Like, are there similarities to what their burnout has felt like, or are there key differences?
I'm not hearing any differences. I hear very similar things or things that I've experienced before and they're experiencing now, or vice versa. But it's nice because I'm so open about, what I do. Everyone knows that I'm a therapist. And if I have to be vocal about, setting boundaries, like, look, I can't talk today because I just, had a really rough day, or like, I don't have the mental energy to talk about these things, my friends and family will understand.